Hello and welcome to Industriegigant 2, which of course is a direct continuation of my Industriegigant 1 Let's Play I completed recently. And like the first season of the game, I wasn't satisfied with the quality of the footage because it ain't up to snuff any longer, so I decided to revisit this game as well. And it will be a nice adventure, presumably, because this game is one of the best ones in its genre, even though it came out 12 years ago at the time of recording. And of course what we have here is the gold version, the remastered release, which came out in 2014 for all the distribution platforms of the day, and including a console, surprisingly enough. And this one supports screen resolutions up to 1080p if I'm not misremembering, but I'm also using a DigiVolo 2 to render this title at 4K natively, so it should look quite nice, at least I did in my recording sessions. And otherwise I don't think there's a need for a wordy introduction, so why don't we kick off a new campaign here and see what we can do. And I do intend to play through the easy campaign at the very least, and then maybe try out one of those add-on campaigns as well, because they do have some character and some story incidentally. And otherwise, I believe there were some stinkers here in the hard campaign to be specific, so I'm not quite sure I will be revisiting this particular one. We have to see about this, of course, but well, first things first, I just try to get things done here in the easy campaign, because I'm a little bit rusty after a break of 2 years, of course. And since we played through every single campaign last time around, we have all the missions, of course. Okay, we're starting out at 1900, of course, and they give us 5 years to achieve something here. I guess then we just get going here. Yes, and the game doesn't tell you about this, you have to read the manual, but you can use the plus and minus keys on the numpad to well, increase or decrease game speed, and also use P to pause the game incidentally. But I will be trying to have this running at well, X for the most part, right, instead of pausing it all the time. But before we do this, let's just take a look at our mission goals, for instance. So they want to see a income. No, they want to see 4 million in our coffers here at the end of 1905. So unlike the first entry in the franchise, it's not all about yearly profit, thankfully. Okay, limited available capital, I can see as much. Yeah, aren't we a smart fellow, huh? Okay. Okay, agriculture it is. I do remember this being relatively affordable, especially in the beginning. Okay, it shouldn't be too difficult, of course, assuming, of course, I can remember what's going on. And yeah, the weather and so on, so forth, the economic conditions won't be a factor on many missions except for the hard campaign. I do believe most of the towns will be connected to a road network in this game. That was a strange omission in the original title, frankly, right? Okay, so what do you want to focus on here? Let's just take a look-see at the information screen, which does return, of course. Yeah, I do remember some of them are actually seasonal items. Not only the harvest, but also the demand throughout the year, of course. So it will be a little bit of an adjustment here necessary, because there was nothing like this in the original game, of course. Okay, for transportation we have the smallest truck available, the Ford Model T, which of course for one doesn't feature a diesel engine. And of course it also came out in 1908 at the earliest, wasn't it? I do believe the truck version came even later. Regardless, we can of course suspend our disbelief. Otherwise we have some old locomotives available. Straight out of the American Wild West, I see, a wood burner for that matter. Sailing boats are in the game, but they are not available right now, and the aircraft are not affected until the 1930s, of course, I believe. The good old DC-3, I think, is the first entry. Okay, otherwise we have the dairy farm, I guess. Okay, chicken farm, and of course an agricultural area here. I think fruit farm and wheat farm, something like this, right? Yeah, it's been quite some time since I last played the game, so you have to excuse me if I'm a little bit rusty, but I think we will get things done here, no problem, right? Of course, it starts with an outlet, as you would think, a grocery store. Yeah, we need to replace town buildings for the most part to have some sort of decent demand, of course, but as in the first game, if we replace the town buildings, of course, we also erase our customer base. I guess it doesn't look terrible. We could start with that. The town will of course also go as we provide more services to them. Yeah, I think the main difference between Industry Giant 1 and Industry Giant 2 is that we don't have to worry about these nonsensical transportation links. Instead, we draw everything from a central stockpile in range, which is the only main gripe I have about this game, actually. And the only gripe, because as you can see, we have this highlighted certainly, but not in a distinct pattern. It's only the color here, and sometimes it comes down to one tiny tile again, as you would think. Unsurprisingly, yes. We can also upgrade these warehouses later on, assuming there's much space available. So not to worry here. So for now we put it slightly further away and see what we can do. Maybe we can even get some farms in the catchment area. That would be a good start. Yeah, something like this. Right, it's always good practice to adjust these here sooner or later, as to which items they can be storing for that matter. Yeah, what we want to store in here, of course, all the food products, which of course is the only one available right now. Okay, in this case it does make sense to leave it exactly as it is, but it's good practice, of course. I just wanted to point it out here in brief. I do remember quite a few snippets about this game. Yeah, so our harvest will include 26 items here, roughly speaking. And of course, since the harvest only occurs once per year, of course, we have to draw from the stockpile throughout the rest of the year, of course. Okay, could not be a terrible idea. I think we may try that. Of course, I'm very rusty, but I think we should be getting things coming along here eventually. You can also pay more salary to have an increased stockpile of items here at the first harvest. It's pretty pricey, but sometimes it is worthwhile, of course. But for now, we leave it as standard. I think that's fine. And when is the first harvesting season? It should tell us here, of course, right? So the seed is in June, and we're harvesting in September, so we have to have a stockpile throughout the entire year, essentially, for the most part. Chicken, for instance, these eggs we can sell immediately, and the same goes with the milk, of course. We have a steady demand of 5 per month, or per season, incidentally. We can also, of course, adjust the prices as in the first entry in the franchise. So why don't we try to make something happen with that here? There are also adjacency bonuses for factories, but I don't believe that's a thing with farms or whatever. And of course, as you can see, it has a bad influence on the city because it stinks like hell, I would assume. Okay, so we can sell 5 per month, something like that. At the moment, of course, we don't need to be too fancy about this. Yeah, we'll keep it try that. I think it's fine. They wanted 5 bottles of milk per season. Well, we can provide that, I'm sure. Oh, I think that will be fine, right? Okay, then we can unpause the game. Of course, you can also mess with the stockpile here eventually. For the harvest, we have to wait a little bit, of course. Maybe also sell some eggs here along the way. Couldn't be a terrible idea. These food products don't serve a whole lot anyhow, because there's no production involved, it's only the bare item. At least you do have some decent statistics in this game, unlike Industry Giant 1 for that matter, right? If you can click on the stockpile, you can adjust what can be delivered here and what is forbidden. Always a good idea to keep this in mind, especially for the more complex production chains later on. Yeah, something like that. Of course, if we have an excess of anything, we can also cart this out by truck or by train, but I don't think it's really necessary right now. But I think we should diversify in some other area. There's plenty of arable land in here, for instance. Yeah, Whitefish is very far away from any lake, apparently. Okay, I'm not quite sure how it got its name. Doesn't really matter ultimately, of course. Yeah, we have some sailing boats in here, of course, and some mantises. And some dolphins and some orcas. Huh. Yeah, this game, of course, has pretty nice attention to detail. I do remember that. Can we build any factories, or is it only agricultural stuff right now? Well, it appears to be. Yeah, this game limits your choices pretty often, from what I do remember. So we cannot make ourselves some fruit juice, for instance. Would be a pretty basic item for starters. I think the range of these grocery stores isn't very large usually, but you can service, of course, multiple per town with one catchment area and one warehouse, if you can pull it off, of course. Sometimes we also compete with each other, as you would think. Yeah, that should be plenty, right? So what's the combined demand here, roughly speaking? Yeah, okay, so 6 plus what exactly? Okay, so roughly 10 here for the eggs. I think it's manageable, I'm hoping. Okay, so I suppose it does highlight the influence on the city, which is nice of the game. The closer the worse, I suppose, right? Something like that. Okay, so chicken it is for us, at least for now. Farms are indeed pretty cheap to operate. There also want some milk, I would assume, right? Also some apples. Yeah, we have to, of course, have enough room in the stockpile for all these items, because it's seasonal, of course, as you would think. Three slabs of meat, okay, in here. You can certainly slaughter some of our cows. Oh, are we broke? Apparently it's too expensive because it's 340 and we only have 271,000 right now. Okay, it's too bad. Of course, I don't think we can take out a loan right now, so we have to be patient here for a little bit. Right, I don't think we can take loans in this game. That was removed from this version, surprisingly. I don't think I was remembering here. Yeah, company value will be a factor in some missions. And there's also property maintenance in the game, by the way, for everything. So that's not to be underestimated, of course. Granted, we never tried out the expansion pack for the original Industriegigant. But I don't think it was nearly as polished as this one here. Pretty excellent game, at least in my opinion. Still one of the best ones in the genre even today. Of course, this thing runs on a potato because it's very old. Of course, we can speed up the game here. I think we have to play for the entire mission, anyhow. Yeah, there we have it. Now we should be able to finance the other farm here, thankfully. There usually is a pretty good profit margin on meat, for instance, compared to the other items. We can also see every single item being visually represented in the stockpile, which is a nice attention to detail. But it's not always that easy to see at a glance, of course. Yeah, we're selling all the items we can produce, which is nice. It's always a good idea to have multiple shops in the catchment area if you can pull this off. I do like the game. It's nice returning to this title. Of course, at the moment, we still have 5 years to work with, so I don't think we should be too concerned. Yeah, there are some problems with audio mixing in this game, especially when it comes to sound effects. There's nothing I can do about this, I'm sorry. It's probably the main flaw of this title, frankly. I suppose we forgot to satisfy it, because we have to do this incidentally. Whoopsie daisy. Really now, okay, this is our first blunder of the campaign. We call it on camera, unfortunately so, because I never pressed the go button. There we go, 4.8, because it doesn't matter, I can assure you. And this one needs to be expanded, I would presume. So we can store all these, yeah, oranges in here and the apples or whatever. Probably a good idea. Let's increase the catchment area. The building is larger, so the radius is also larger. Correspondingly so. I suppose it would be refrigerated, but then again, it's just a game, of course. If we want to set on additional farms, it should be before the seeds occur, right? Of course, as you would think. So doing this in the middle of December probably is not very worthwhile, as you would think, because you still have to pay for the yeah, maintenance costs and also the salaries of our workers for all the entire year, even if they're not doing anything. Then again, we are an industrialist, it's 1900, we're not in for charity. I suppose we could cut out some items. Make us a stockpile of apples or whatever and distribute the stuff by truck just for good practice purposes. I don't think it would be uncalled for. Once we have 1 million saved up or something like that. It's not like we're going to get very rich here anyway, but achieving 4 million in the bank is the easiest target presumably to meet in this game anyway. Short of company value, I presume, something like that. Yeah, I think April it was, right? Just double checking before I get too eager here, right? We should be able to set out at least a couple of farms. Even if we cannot finance the entire operation. At the moment we can only make apples anyhow. Just to get this going sooner or later, you know. Okay, that's all we can finance right now, I'm thinking. So, let's just see. Yeah, June it is right. Okay, so it's not quite here. Of course, then the stockpile, move all the items in here, you get the idea. Later on, they also restrict your profit, at least I did so in the hard campaign, which I played last season. And there were some real stinkers in there, I can assure you. Not just the very last mission. Some of them were downright unachievable, despite my best efforts. Because the game developers, they hated my guts apparently, something like that. Yeah, there we have it, there's June, so we can also see this, of course, visually represented, which is nice. This game has great attention to detail, outstanding even. I do dig that. You can also, of course, have multiple warehouses side by side. There's no restriction whatsoever on this, which is really nice. It's good practice, trust me, we should do this all the time, essentially. Also double check our handiwork, so we only want to have apples in here, and peaches and whatnot. Stuff doesn't rot away, by the way. You don't have to worry about that, it's all well refrigerated. Yeah, okay, we need to increase the demand for eggs here by lowering the prices just a tiny bit, I see. But 20%, it does hurt quite a bit, you know. Yeah, demand is actually going down because this town is constructing buildings. Something like that, and it does hurt. Some of these smaller towns have minuscule demand, like this here, yeah, this grocery store. But you can, of course, also lower the rate of production if it's necessary. It may be necessary later on. How many apples do you want? Or crates of apples? 8 here, okay. It's probably 2 over here. No, it's actually surprisingly high for that matter. Okay, interesting. Of course, the initial trucks are very, very slow, as you would think. Yeah, so the first harvest did occur incidentally, so now we can send a couple of trucks on their way. Yeah, small truck terminal. I think we can only move one item at a time, and the small depot only has a capacity for 2 trucks anyhow. I suppose you can always upgrade this later on, but this will be a somewhat busy operation. I think it does auto-snap to roads, by the way, if I'm not misremembering. Yeah, I think it does. At the moment we only have dirt roads, as you would think. Don't want to cart right through the farmland here ideally, so we keep it in the middle. And they're connected over here somewhere. I think it's pretty reliable, certainly much more reliable than the original Industriegigant. There's no speed difference, I believe, right now, so we can just connect it over here. Then we need to, of course, drop off our items somewhere. Yeah, I think we have to set down the road first, otherwise there's an auto-snap. Yeah, there we go, no problem. We can, of course, also rename the stations and whatever, not a problem. Starts per month order is exactly what it sounds like. If some of the shops only accept 1 or 2 items per month, you know, per season, something like that. Yeah, wait until full ideally. And then just unload all the shit, right? And there's our first truck and service. Very old-fashioned one, of course. Yeah, these pre-rendered cutscenes, they do look very nice indeed. Yeah, we can also purchase multiple vehicles at the same time, which is nice, up to 5. I don't think we need quite that many, so maybe 4 will do it for now. Yeah, the game doesn't restrict the mouse cursor to the screen sometimes, I'm sorry. Okay, so as you can see, we have a massive stockpile, so we need to sell more of them, of course. We can also stop the production on these farms eventually if it's necessary. Okay, so then set up a couple more grocery stores and see what we can do about that. That seems like a good start, but of course we can have a better coverage. Just have to worry about the catchment area, of course. It does subtract this automatically, I believe, but I don't think we can get all of it in the catchment area. Okay, so for now we go with this here. I think it's fine. The houses don't have an impact on town growth, but I do believe houses can only be alongside any given road. I'm not quite sure how and if the town converts our streets to their own. Like in the first Industriegigant, no idea. Have to find out eventually, right? Or rediscover it, most likely. Okay, there we have it. Not a problem, so how many do we need for that? I should just use the arrow keys frankly sometimes. So 8, okay. Over here it is another 6 or so averaged out of 5.5, something like that. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay, now we get ourselves more trucks here. These of course are very slow. They can only carry 1 crate of apples per journey. Always a problem. I guess then we just try 4 for now. And be on your merry way, please. Of course, using trains would make a little bit more sense in this particular scenario, but there we have it. Of course, every single item is visually represented as well, which is nice. The stockpile of X is, of course, something we can cart out if we wanted to, not a problem. There's another grocery store here, of course. Sure, why not? We can reuse some infrastructure. I don't hate that. Just a couple of trucks here along the way, since there's 1 additional loading bay available anyhow. But beware of running costs in this game, as with the first Industriegigant. It's important. Pretty impactful for that matter. Yeah, I don't think it makes us rich, but we can have some experimentation here because, well, I'm a little bit rusty, of course, unsurprisingly. Are we even selling all this shit here before the next harvest? Doesn't look it, frankly. No, I don't think it does. I guess we can slow down the rate of production or make more room here so the harvester doesn't go to waste essentially. Okay, interesting. It comes down to this already. Surely we can make this happen. Yeah, there we have it. You just use the other arrow. There we have it. So just remembered. Muscle memory is kicking in yet again. Yeah, no stockpile of anything in here, of course. And how many did you want, theoretically? Of course, we already have a farm in here. But there seems to be excess capacity. Just a couple of items per month. I think it's fine. But this long distance doesn't make any sense for these low-as trucks here, incidentally. These small towns aren't really worth servicing, but why not? We can be with the provider around here. But there's literally zero demand in the small town. Zero. I think that's one of those things I pointed out as criticism at the first season. Yeah, sometimes the demand, even the medium-sized towns, is only a handful of items per season or per month. Which is next to useless, hence the stars per month order on our trucks for that matter. It's also very, very small outlet here. Need some room here, by the way, for the town to grow. That's a good tip here. Of course, it would make some sense to pick up some items on the return trip, wouldn't you think? That would make sense. We can sell some eggs in here for starters, but we're already doing this, aren't we? Maybe some meat? Yeah, maybe some meat. Okay, what's the verdict here? How many slabs of meat? 4, okay. Alright, so a small scale operation, maybe we do the trick for us. I think it's not a terrible idea. We can finance this. Not quite. I suppose adjusting vehicle orders in this game is not nearly as much of a headache as it used to be in the first Industriegigant, thankfully. Okay, I think we start with this. I do believe, though, we don't have shared vehicle orders in this game. Okay, whatever, but you need to learn from all mistakes, of course, so for now we just put it in here. We can see our vehicles, but the orders aren't shared. Yes, we have to replace vehicles after a while, because they do become more expensive to operate. Yeah, this is still very basic. We can only change the orders of a single vehicle, not all of them at the same time in bulk. Even though we can purchase these in bulk, of course. Now, in this case, maybe we go for local production, but of course we have to pay for all of our workers. Utilizing our existing facilities better is of course always a good idea in this game. And the stockpile is going down. The next harvest is about to occur, even better. Yeah, the stockpile of eggs is going down, thankfully. Don't expect to earn big bucks with a setup like this here, frankly. You have to process these products for any meaningful profit margin. Especially in these later missions. And these trucks here on the dirt road are super slow, of course. But the animations are excellent. This is a fully 3D rendered game, of course, as you would expect. Yeah, of course I'm a Dumbo because we have this missing here, right? The items still disappear into the ether even though there's no notification. Yeah, that must be one of those things they didn't fix after the first Industriegigant. Okay, but this thing is essential, of course. We always need a warehouse. We always need a warehouse in this game. No exceptions. Okay, so a couple of apples have disappeared into the ether. They fell off the truck, so to speak, and rotted away in the meantime. Well, it's too bad, but there we go. That's why I said I'm rusty, of course. Yeah, but we really should be picking up some items on the return trip. It's a good idea. It really is a good idea. I don't think traffic jams is something we have to be particularly concerned about unless things get really crazy. The Pathfinder is a lot more advanced than it was in the original Industriegigant, and we also don't have to worry about only one vehicle being permissible in an intersection at any given time. They also fixed that, thankfully. Yeah, okay, well, we cannot produce too much here. The rest we need to cut out to be exactly. We're already selling eggs and meat over here. We aren't selling milk by chance, are we though? No, we aren't, but this is too far away for agricultural products in this game. It simply is. So we do our tally here. Of course, we also have to be able to move all the items over here. It's also a problem. 6 slabs of meat, okay. So, okay, we keep it on the low burner, maybe something like that. Doesn't have to go full out. If we cut down anything, it's probably a good idea to go with the salaries of our workers. Although if it goes down too low, they go on strike, of course, as you would think. Yeah, just append the orders here, whatever. I think it would work. But in the other order, please. Just double checking, right? Sometimes you should be renaming these stations here as a consequence. So we go to Brewster, then we pick up some slabs of meat here, I guess. Yeah, wait until full, and then we drop it off here, something like that. That should work plenty, I'm hoping. Yeah, I don't think I can, yeah, I can clone the selected vehicle, but I cannot clone the orders of currently moving vehicles, I believe. So I have to do it for every single one myself, don't I? I think I need to do this. Okay, that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Yeah, and if we do it like this, then we should append the orders automatically. Indeed we do. I think we had only 4 vehicles on this line anyhow. So it shouldn't be too concerning here. Yeah, sell some slabs of meat here on the side, and the excess we can cart in here with one dedicated truck or something like that. Shouldn't be too concerning. Yeah, that should work just fine. Since we can always increase the rate of production, we go with 2 trucks maybe. Well, let's just see if things will be humming along or not. I sure hope they do. This game does actually autosave frequently, I believe, right? Doesn't it not? I think F5 is still the autosave, right? Nope. Okay, the buttons change all the time apparently. Well, I suppose I can look it up in my yeah, menu. There are some players. Yeah, the last time we played this game was in 2022. We're still not selling enough apples, but we cannot really sell them, right? I mean, that many, I should say. I don't think that works. But there certainly is excess demand, so what's the problem? Are you telling me a couple of trucks are insufficient to move these items over here? Or then maybe. Well, I guess this shop gets filled up first, right before the other one. Well, regardless, we can certainly send 2 more trucks in here. At the very least. And Happy New Year, friends. Yeah, there are no leftover apples for this store here, I would think. Probably. Oh, we can fix that. Yeah, we can just clone this vehicle, I guess, right? There we go. 4 additional trucks. Easy peasy. I'm not quite sure if vehicles can overtake each other in this game, but of course at the moment we only have one type of truck available, and a very slow one at that. Yeah, that's the maximum we can sell anyhow. But the problem sometimes is supply demand will be important. Well, I don't think we'll be replaying the high difficulty campaign, but still. I think it's still a factor sometimes, especially in the add-on campaigns. Not just as egregious, a bit more manageable. But we need to save up some money, right? Because the target is, yeah, can we actually build stuff in the final year? I think we can if they only care about our coffers here. So unlike the first Industriegigant, we can actually build stuff during the last year if we are smart about this, depending on our mission parameters and whatever. I guess we can try to cart the apples over here if we really wanted to. I don't think it will be justifiable, but it makes trains to do work a little bit better here in this game, but we can only have the bridges at fixed positions. I think it must be set in the scenario editor. That was a strange thing I noticed the last time we played this game. Sometimes you cannot build bridges where you need them to, essentially, because of this very reason. Yeah, something like that. Who doesn't like milk? Well, except for lactose intolerant people, of course. Yeah, so it does tell you, of course. You can also give the town some buildings like a house of culture as in the first Industry Giant. You should probably take a look at our statistics as to how much we're actually earning per year, wouldn't you think? Our most profitable item appears to be X here, surprisingly. Then again, it's only agriculture right now. At least we have more earnings than we have costs, right? Always a good idea to see this. But total profit is negative. At least, well, in total. But for this year, it seems to be positive, I'm hoping. Yeah, agriculture products won't make you rich, friends. But I think we should be able to manage. I mean, if we fail the very first mission of the easy campaign, despite my overall rustiness, it would be pretty embarrassing, wouldn't you think? I'd say so. But there really is no reason, no need to use any trucks for this, frankly. There really isn't. So, what gives I guess? And it doesn't make any sense to have a farm humming along for only 2 bottles of milk per season here, whatever. Of course, all of them take inspiration from real-life vehicles. Yeah, this is a coal burner, not a wood burner. It's nice, I suppose. But I'm getting concerned. I want to see 4 million and we only have barely 1 million here. So how can we fix that problem? Since they only care about our coffers, of course. It shouldn't be too difficult, I'm hoping. Then again, we cannot process anything. We can only sell some agriculture products. That's hardly ideal. But it's just too far away. It doesn't make any sense to cart around by train or even truck for that matter. It's just goddamn slow here, or too slow for that matter. So we better do something about it, shouldn't we, sooner or later, instead of resting on our laurels. Sometimes you have to cover the entirety of the map here to have any reasonable expectation of winning the mission. And we cannot demolish city streets, I believe, not even one tile. It's forbidden. Just to give you a warning here, right? Okay, so, but it's not too far away. In Refuge Cove here, with this nice looking drawbridge. But the demand is 0, literally 0, even for a grocery store, which incidentally, I don't think makes much sense. Yeah, I don't think it does really. Okay, so, goodie. It's a very small scale operation. But we have to go all the way around to deliver some items. Maybe we can build a bridge. That would make things easier, wouldn't you think? I don't think it's permissible. I know how the game works. At least I remember. Oh, actually we can build a bridge here. How generous of you, game. Why don't we do exactly that? Our bridges, of course, are decidedly less fancy. Yeah, put it right back here. The town cannot build anything in there anyhow. Some of the sound effects, as you will realize, are reused from the original Industry Giant. I did certainly recognize that, yes. Okay, so, couple of farms back here. Doesn't look like a super fertile land, but I think it's good enough. Maybe go for a mixed train just to try it out. That couldn't be a terrible idea, right? Okay, I think we give it a spin, maybe. Some meat, some milk, some eggs, you know, stuff like that, all in one train. And the excess we cart out to Eaglewood, maybe. It just doesn't make any sense, it's just too close here, but our trucks are also extremely slow for that matter. It's not very fertile land, but I think it does pay some bills, I'm hoping. Yeah, farms don't have adjacency bonuses, I'm pretty sure about that. Apparently the chicken don't mind, I see. And now we are completely broke because I spent it all on a couple of things that we cannot use right now. That's too bad. But we need to earn 4 million, of course, at the end of 1905. Right? Was it not the goal here in this mission? Yeah, they want to see cash. Cash only. Sweet, sweet cash, right? Okay, and of course these vehicles look about 20 years younger than they should be. I don't think we saw many vehicles anyhow in 1903. Especially in this back border portion of the United States, where we are exactly, I would think. It's extremely important to double and triple and quadruple check that everything is in the catchment area, unsurprisingly. I don't want to make the same mistakes I did in the first campaign, incidentally. Did have some problems with that sometimes. Yeah, saved him some headache. We don't want to drive for longer than absolutely necessary here. Because our trucks are super slow. I guess we start with a slightly larger one just to make sure we can load items all at the same time. And for the deliveries, only a small one will be plenty. And Happy New Year once again. Excellent. Of course, I wouldn't throw something ugly at you this early here, of course, as you would think. So what's the utilization here? At least the theoretical one. Okay, it's about... Yeah, but that should be good, I'm hoping. But very fertile land here, of course, but our production costs, they don't really change, unfortunately so. So maybe we send 3 vehicles over here. Of course, later on we do have trucks actually capable of pulling a trailer, so we can have multiple items or just the 2 of the same type, essentially, which is nice when you think about it. But of course, it's ways off at this point in time. Ways off indeed. Of course, this one is not connected yet, just yet. Yeah, great. Of course, if we don't confirm this order, then we don't have any trucks to worry about. Thankfully. Not the fastest fellows, wouldn't you think? Almost unusable medium distance even. I would agree with that actually. Yeah, we cannot space them out, unfortunately so. But it's not a massive thing, I'm guessing, at least at the moment. So 5, I think, because the route is very long, comparatively speaking. But of course we need to make some money here. We only have up to the end of 2015. So all these trucks, they don't look very expensive. They don't ride lackluster, but I can assure you it's something to worry about. Of course, since we can't arrive that frequently, it does make some sense to go with a bulk delivery here and then just use the stockpile for the rest of the month. Something like that. This road is connected to right, so why are they not using it? Really? That's really strange. That is downright unfortunate even, I would say. Yeah, what's the problem with that? I'm not sure. Yeah, that's really worrying. Oh, buddy. Okay, then. Need to sell some items, of course, that's pretty important. Maybe one farm too many here, incidentally. I guess it's a possibility for us. That's what I meant to. Transportation costs are the killer in this game. That's the problem. Maybe it's a bit too late for us already here. But okay, what's the problem? Is it not connected? Because the other cars are certainly using it. That's really strange. Why would you go all the way around? It doesn't look nearly as appealing for a road tie, you know. It leaves me a little bit speechless anyhow. Okay, so then we should deliver the eggs there someplace else, right? But there isn't really a whole lot of opportunity on this map here because it's very small scale. Yeah, I think one farm would have been plenty, incidentally. Most likely. Yeah, we still have to pay for our workers, of course, that's a problem. But if they go on strike, we don't really care about this. But they will go on strike, I can assure you. Yeah, why are they going all the way around? I just don't get it. I mean, it shouldn't be a thing, right? These are connected, right? Just double checking. We're earning money back for whatever reason. $8. Well, I suppose it's just a glitch or whatever, because I don't think we're actually earning any money by doing this. Because it would just be odd, wouldn't you think? Yeah, we have to pay running costs for every single trip, even if we are going all empty. So now they're using it, so was it connected? What was the problem there? I just don't get it, I'm sorry. Okay, did we fix the problem if there even was a problem, because I don't know. But apparently there was, because city streets, okay, our other friends using the road, but our trucks aren't. Really odd. Okay, that's what I was worried about. Because I have to sit around for this harvest here, of course. That's hardly ideal. Oh, I think we can still make it, right? I think the, no, I think it's just too late because I didn't post the game, so I have to wait for next year for this to happen. Well, that is very unfortunate. Yeah, so okay, that's what I meant, right? Sometimes, yeah, we need to be more observant here, of course. But paying for additional salaries usually isn't worth the effort, frankly, or at least the money spent. Yeah, it's in June, right? It has to be... In June, it's already July, so there we go. So only next year, so we have to wait now for a little bit. And there's the first traffic jam of the season as well, because as you can see, there's some problems. And now our egg deliveries cannot get through. Okay, hopefully we can fix this problem here eventually. So let's just speed up the game and hope for the best. I mean, I cannot do anything about this right now. That's the problem. We only have 4 loading bays and this medium-sized truck depot anyhow. But it's not exactly very profitable, right? If things like these keep happening to us. When was the harvest again? In September. Okay. At least get our trucks moving if we wouldn't mind. At least some of them. Okay, but it's hard the idea because the stockpile isn't going to last, right, for very long. I don't think it will be. Maybe throw down one additional farm here for next year. I don't think it's a stupid idea. So now we have to save up some money here, presumably on the final year. I'm not sure we can make 4 million happen in 1 year though, that's the thing. Because we have to find out eventually. But this is hard the idea, wouldn't you think? I don't think there's much room for optimization or getting us some sweet money here. Yes, we have to go for every single grocery store. For instance, eggs can be increased in price now, I think. Again. I didn't think it would come down to this already here, but there we go. It's a little unfortunate, frankly. With the earth. But as you can see, the difference is kinda striking here. Kinda important for that matter. Need to keep an eye on that, of course. Has to be on the safe side if we're earning enough money in the final year of the mission. If we fail this one, I would be mighty amazed, frankly, but it could happen, of course. Since I'm very rusty at the game, evidently. But I think it's just a matter of a muscle memory kicking in again. Yeah, squeeze them for every single penny. Every single penny here and then some. Within reason, of course. Within reason. Looks like we can deliver more meat to some players. I guess the return trip angle just isn't sufficient here. Okay. No problem. But trucks are pretty pricey, especially in bulk. Don't underestimate that. Well, one thing is for certain, we are selling every apple we can make. Well, harvest at least. So we're selling one slab of meat or one crate of meat for 6,000 something bucks. Yeah, of course this game is also pretty heavy on the micromanagement angle as you would assume. But thankfully not too heavy. And each time we have to do it, it's easier to see at a glance because there are more statistics available. Yeah, we cannot squeeze out much here anyway, I would think. Now we're going to make 4 million in 1 year. It looks the part at least, thankfully. Of course, these expenditures do add up eventually. Yeah, I guess we just grab this one here, why? Because we don't have a need for this. But we have to pay for the maintenance cost still. These demolition costs are only a one-time expenditure. But I cannot be bothered to purchase more of these slow-as trucks, frankly. They just are too slow and bothersome. So it's February and we've earned 1 point something million. I hope it does pay the bills once we get there. Yeah, this was idling for an entire year essentially, but we still have to pay for it, of course. Courtesy of my blunder, speaking of which. This stockpile isn't going to last here, right? Okay, then we have to do something quickly about this here. So our egg deliveries can still commence here at the same time, somehow. I don't think we can build any bridges, anything fancy that does. I don't think that's a thing. But we can make a little bit of a detour, like this here, and then also break this road tire. Just to prevent the trucks from coming through here. Within reason, of course. We are not bugging out, are we too? Hope we not. Yeah, we have it. Okay, so the pathfinding is just updating in the background. That's good. Once I can see that we're cutting out the remaining crates of apples here, whatever. So the pathfinder is not more robust in this game, thankfully. But I really don't want this rotor here, please. Thank you very much. I'm not sure how often the update occurs, but evidently not very often. It is not often enough, but does fix itself automatically if you're lucky. Eventually we get there. One driver at a time. I guess it was set to something slow because this game was released during the early Pentium 4 era, of course. Couldn't be too fancy there when it came to the resources, but it should alleviate some of our potential bottlenecks here, I'm thinking, because our trucks are already waiting. And the first seeding hasn't even occurred just yet. So meeting for many could be a little bit difficult then, as a consequence already. Of course, I cannot spend money on additional farms right now. It's impossible. So maybe next time around we have to do better planning. And again, as I've already mentioned, I'm very rusty at this game. But it's hopefully not a complete embarrassment, yes? And there's a new truck available. Okay, the 3-ton white truck. Yes, of course, open cab was the name of the game back in the day. Even if we did have an enclosed passenger cabin, the drivers still had to be exposed to the elements. Pretty rude, wouldn't you think? Yeah, okay, maybe once we set the upper symbol, then we can make this happen, but otherwise, 4 million this year could be pretty difficult because it's July. Okay, we are past the 2 million mark, but still. And the harvest doesn't occur until September. But at least our other trucks can now deliver some items still in the meantime. Yeah, okay, we need to be taking these lessons to heart here, of course, so we don't embarrass ourselves in the next missions, whatever that will be. There we go, I do like this game, it's just a matter of a muscle memory kicking in once again. Once we sell these apples in bulk here at the end of the year, we should be earning some sweet cash here. Our trucks are slow, but they can arrive in time, but there's no way to fix this right now. There simply isn't enough time remaining here in this mission. But the memories are coming back, and so is the muscle memory. I didn't tell you for the reason I'm pretty rusty at this game, right? Okay, there's September. That means our first trucks can finally move out. City traffic is completely random, by the way. They don't have a destination on origin. They just spawn in, I believe. Well, I suppose there we go, but at least there was some safety margin in this mission because even baby industrialists like myself can play this game once in a while without embarrassing themselves too badly. Yeah, but we should be earning some sweet cash at the start of next month. Only then. It's the only income infusion of money. Yeah, okay, we just earned the 300,000, I believe. Okay, I don't think it's going to happen actually. Why? Because it comes down to the last 2 months, and I don't see another 1 million here in our coffers. I don't think that's going to happen. Well, no matter, we already unlocked all the missions, of course. But it's still a bit embarrassing here, one might say. I'm fully admit to that. So we don't have any income, incidentally. We are not earning anything during the month anyhow, only at the very first of the month, you know. Yeah, the first day of the month, essentially. So, this mission is a failure already because of this oopsie here. Okay, that's too bad. But it's kinda ridiculous, right? Really now. Yeah, mission failed. Mission failed. So maybe with 2 additional months we could have done it here, VD. Oh, it's embarrassing, but then again, we already unlocked all the missions, didn't we? So we can just, you know, go with the second mission here, Florida. Yeah, okay. Well, unbelievable. We failed the very first mission of the easy campaign because of this blunder in the middle. Okay, well, what can I say? It's not a good start, but hopefully I can check off the rust eventually. So what's the goal this time around, my friends? It's a small map and we have 9 years to work with. Okay, they want to see a company value of 10 million. And company value does include our vehicles as well as the inventory in stock. And they want to sell some inflatable rubber boats. Rubber? Surely, yes, okay. We can also breed some crocodiles as a sideline. Yes, we are in Florida. Looked, of course, slightly different to the 1940s compared to today. So let's just see what's available. So we have the oil derrick, okay. Petroleum doesn't come straight out of the ground, by the way. I think raw oil would be the more appropriate term in this case. Yeah, crocodile farm. So we can make us some crocodile leather handbags. Fantastic. And we can make us some rubber boats here, of course. It's a dirty industry, but the sporting goods industry does make a return, evidently. Otherwise, we can make some sun lotion. Okay, and rubber, of course, which indeed is an intermediate product, but it's a 1-to-1 ratio, so it shouldn't overtax our monkey brain, unlike the last mission here, of course. Let's just see if there's suitable terrain for an oil derrick around here someplace. I think it should be pretty easy to see, because we have some barrels on the ground here someplace. Yeah, like here. Okay, 300, by the way, is a minuscule amount of oil. This isn't sustainable long term. 1200 also isn't exactly great here, but we need to get started with something, of course. So it comes down to the dino juice then. They're giving us lots of money in the early missions, thankfully, to get us started. Okay, we want to squeeze in more oil derricks in the catchment area if at all possible. That would be smart. We also need some intermediate products, and this time around we should probably set this up right from the get-go, just to be on the safe side. It's also good practice, of course. Okay, but for now we start a bit smarter here, of course, and also a bit smaller, incidentally. So we need, of course, a chemical plant in the middle to make us that rubber. So we need to have access to both stockpiles, of course. And then we need to turn this into, what exactly? Probably some inflatable boats, I would think. Yeah, something like that. Okay, let's just set it up properly here, shall we not? So this is only for the storage of raw oil and nothing else. All 4 slots of them. We should also probably adjust the order spec here, because we can disallow deliveries to this particular stockpile for any reason whatsoever. It's always a good idea. Yeah, we can deliver, but we cannot get items from back here. We can pick up whatever we need from back here. I think it's fine. Yeah, that should work fine. Of course, there is no maintenance requirements for these facilities. They are repaired automatically. We don't need to count on any engineering supplies or farm supplies as an open TDD, of course, with the first set. Yeah, because I'm a little bit rusty, just double checking. I think it should be correctly set up here. Yeah, it's always good practice, by the way. You need to do this, incidentally. Okay, of course, we also need to sell these rubber boats somewhere, wouldn't you think, in a sporting goods store. Maybe Palm Beach. South Beach, okay. I do remember reading about this someplace. Then we also have West Beach and Green Beach. I suppose they are real facilities, right? At least real locations. The town being relatively small, I don't think there's much in the way of a customer base here anyhow, wouldn't you think? It's minuscule as a matter of fact. So it can only be a slow rate of production than I would think. Maybe also sell some sun lotion in which store exactly? The fabric shop? No, it's only for leather bags. Here's household goods apparently. Sun lotions only in demand during the summer season as you would think. Really, that's the best we can do? Apparently so. So will be attract a base distribution angle then I see. Because the items were the other video of mentioning. It's just nothing essentially. So we can supply the entirety of the map with yeah, these rubber boats, I suppose, with only one factory. And unsurprisingly, we can only sell these items in the largest of towns. And these, to be honest, aren't that large to begin with. Alright, then we have to do it, I guess, before we go completely broke. But using trains for this, I mean, how often can we deliver these items? Time does progress relatively speedily in this game as well. I'm not quite sure, man. I simply cannot justify using a train for this because the demand is so low. Do we have any decent vehicles available for that matter? Like trucks or anything faster? How fast are they now? It's important. So this one can move at 70 kph. That's not miles per hour. And this one can even pull a trailer. Must be the first one, right? I think. Yeah, okay. 46 kph really now. They would struggle to maintain the speed even back in the day, you know, on gravel roads, or even worse. Okay, that looks slightly more usable here, I think. The cap over design there. Okay, but I don't believe it needs to be having a full speed here. That seems extremely unlikely. So let's just see about the ratio, anything in between. So how much rubber do we need? Can we himself have rubber boats here per month? That's the thing though. South Beach deliveries as well, maybe? I mean, I cannot take a loan, that's the problem. I have to get started here somewhere and somehow. 85. Okay, I suppose we try that here. 5, please. And 5 boats. It should be easy to get the same ratio, roughly speaking. Yeah, no problem. Of course, we need to account this out by truck then in a certain fashion. Repair facility. Of course, we need those. Essentially, they were not a factor in the other mission, of course. They're also complaining about the lack of raw materials because at the moment there isn't anything available, of course. Okay, I suppose that we can make ourselves some leather bags around here with a crocodile farm. That's a funny thing. Yes, of course, we need to maintain our vehicles, which is an add-on in this game. At the moment, we do have better roads available, so that's the asphalt variety. Of course, higher speed limit as you would think. Maybe also slightly less wear on our trucks as you would imagine. I think we can also upgrade city streets, can we not? I think we can, right? It does help things along, of course. Don't think the town will be giving us any favors because of this, but it certainly speeds up our trucks. And I think the Pathfinder does actually take speed limits into consideration in this game. Nicely done, right? Game developers. And do like the upgrades here, of course. Not quite sure how frequently we have to maintain our trucks, but hopefully this will be good enough. Guess we'll find out pretty shortly. Yeah, and don't forget about the stockpile, of course, before I forget indeed. Swampy terrain usually doesn't make for the easiest road construction. There shouldn't be any dirt roads around here anyhow, given that fact, you know. I think it would be impassable during much of the year. What's the problem? There must be a vehicle in the way, right? Yeah, a car of some type. Not the problem. I mean, it's kinda annoying, don't get me wrong, but still. So, let's just see about the bridge angle. I sure hope it's possible, and thankfully it is. Okay, lovely little asphalt bridge here. So, the stockpile needs to be coming in next, of course. Maybe also leave the opportunity for a leather shop or something like this. I don't think it will be super profitable. Yeah, I don't think it's going to give us the big bucks here, but alrighty then, we have to get started somewhere. So what was the demand again? Das ist a refresher. How many can we sell here? Auf these rubber boats? Now the whole lot is the answer, right? I don't want to discount items, you know, but we cannot go for advertisement in this version, I believe. Didn't return from the first Industry Giant, unfortunately so. Okay, one additional boat here, I think, is a terrible idea. So we sent in, like, 2 articulated trucks, maybe. Or I should say 1 truck with a trailer. Of course, we want to wait until full. And then dump it over here and hope for the best. And, well, it's always a repeat, of course. You don't have to see the cutscene every single mission because it does reset the timer, of course. But it's barely worth servicing, to be honest. It barely is. But of course, the mission does restrict our choices in this particular area. They only will give us a free reign or close to it. But then hopefully we can earn some money here in the meantime. Of course, we can't earn any money if our factories aren't humming along here, of course. So now it's a matter of, yeah, finding the proper ratio here. Something like that. It was 5, wasn't it, right? It's very important, otherwise the stockpile will keep, well, indeed piling up, no pun intended. Yeah, we aren't allowed to move items in here, aren't we? So the rate of production is just very slow. But there we have it. So maybe we can start thinking about selling some, well, crocodile leather jackets then, or some bags for that matter. And we also have some World War II aircraft flying above. I do believe they actually do change with the era of the game, which is nice attention to detail once again. The BDS, what do you think? Now we have 9 years to work with, but I'm not too hopeful here given our current rate of advancement, or lack thereof. Oh, I tell me this fucking thing is too far away. Of course it would be. That would be the reason why. So once again, this fucking catchment area rears its ugly head. That's something I was worried about. That's something I was very concerned about. Yeah, it's just one tile too far away. Of course it would be. It's always that one fucking tile here, incidentally. Okay, goodie. Okay, goodie. At least we discovered our problems sooner or later. Once again, we have to turbo check this, incidentally. We absolutely do. We're not getting any money back if we scrap our vehicles, incidentally. I don't think we do. So we use the vehicle orders here from this menu for the first time, I guess. Yeah, that is embarrassing, of course, isn't it? Of course it would be. But there we have it. We can fix our problems, I'm hoping. Of course, the mouse buttons, by the way, they are reversed, which is why I accidentally keep closing this menu, because it did work the other way around in the original Industry Giant when it comes to filling these items, no, in bulk. Yeah, there we have it. Apparently we are skipping orders without my input, but at least we are moving now, which is good, right? That's at least something, right? Really good? Maybe not. How embarrassing is that? It is very embarrassing. And hopefully it's not a massive blunder, because we just discovered our problem is only one empty return trip, essentially. Oopsie daisy, what can I say? I'm rusty at the game. But I'm getting here, I'm hoping. Sometimes you have to relearn these lessons the hard way, of course. But I fully admit it is embarrassing regardless. It's okay, finally. And then we can also scrap the stupid depot here, because we're paying maintenance for it, of course. Okay, so, how about those crocodile leather bags here then, presumably? How expensive would that be? We could sell some household goods on the side here, like the sun lotion, but I think the demand will be minuscule by comparison, wouldn't you think? But I guess we can check. Yeah, household, I think it was, right? So it's pretty dreadful. We can only sell it during the summer season, unsurprisingly. At least these items don't directly compete with each other, but they certainly complement each other. You would think at least. Yeah, so 3 items here, that's hardly worth using. I think what we should be doing instead is to set down another store over here, then wouldn't you think? That's probably more like it. At least we finally have some decent trucks available, so we don't need to use rail for this. Yeah, that's probably the smarter play, frankly. It probably is. We can certainly increase the rate of production, but I don't think it's going to be necessary anyway. I think it ought to be plenty already, I would think. So give me 3 of these for now. Of course, the trailers, they also take up more space, something to keep in mind. To avoid some potential traffic jams along the way, things of that nature. Okay, so we have cornered the market for rubber boots already, I see. But we can certainly make ourselves some lotion here on the side with a different chemical industry. Adjacency bonuses only apply if you focus on the same item, I believe. I'm pretty sure about this. Yeah, crocodile farm in swampy terrain, I would assume, right? Yes, indeed in swampy terrain, but the demand was also substandard if I'm not misremembering. But this is luxury item, and luxury items, they do have a higher profit margin. Okay, 5 in winter. Ah, I think it's for the holiday season then, right? For Christmas or whatever. Okay, this makes some sense when you think about it. So maybe it doesn't look so dreadful after all, but of course it's too far away from the yeah, depot here. Or at least the stockpile. I suppose we can always put a second one if it's absolutely necessary. Or we just set it for 1 less. No? Okay, it doesn't look so unappealing after all. I think we may try that. But of course it means we cannot manufacture this many anyway, unsurprisingly. It's a seasonal item, unfortunately so. Okay, we have 16 items per slot, if I'm not misremembering, 16 years. Ideally we don't want to demolish any town buildings if it's all avoidable, but if it's only 1 small house, maybe doable. Gets 2 additional skyscrapers in the catchment area. I think it's a smart play. Of course, I should be setting down these facilities before we have the farm set up and everything. But I think there is no harvest on the crocodile farm, because where would there be? Would be strange, wouldn't you think? Yeah, harvesting season. I think it's immediately like the chicken coop. There we have it. Just double checking, is in the catchment area, yes. I would embarrass myself again, of course. Central ideally, right? For eco deliveries, something over here maybe. But of course the terrain is not really favorable. So that we need to hold it off this stuff anyway, these crocodiles. I think it ought to be plenty. I mean, we cannot sell this many anyway. It's a very seasonal item. Is it a dinosaur? Yeah. I suppose there's a descendant waiting for you here. If you want to go for a snack or anything in between. Okay, that's funny. Of course, farming terrain doesn't make it easy to, yeah, really build roads or anything in between. Should be pretty pricey. So, 2 tiles for this maybe, and 2 tiles for the finished product. Yeah, so also in the textile industry around here. Yeah, it's not going to be super profitable, but I suppose he's hoping. Yeah, it's only 2 anyhow, right? It's barely worth using, frankly, to be honest, but there we have it. I don't think we can get exactly the same. That's usually an exercise in futility in this game. Yeah, we can get 1.9, we cannot get 2. Well, isn't that fantastic? Okay, there's no reason to use any trains in this mission here, because the rate of production is just too slow across the board. That's what I figured. Yeah, right in the middle here, that's fine, I think. The other road we can just reuse, I'm thinking. Something like that. Okay, our first deliveries are occurring. I guess we should also, yeah, probably pave the road over here somewhere. Just to speed things up along the way if we haven't done so already. And indeed we haven't. It's an affordable option, of course. Yeah, seasonal items, of course, are a new introduction in this game. Makes things pretty hectic later on. Although, I would say about half the items are not very seasonal at all. So steady demand, for instance, food supply, you know, things of that nature. Also booze, because booze is in high demand throughout the entire year, of course. Okay, so this has been connected. Fantastic. I don't think we're going to need articulated trucks for this or something with a trailer. Seems unlikely. So we go for the speedier option. It's also cheaper to operate, I would figure. Yeah, this is $6 per tire, this is $10 per tire, but it's theoretically better value for money when you think about it. So how many do we need for this? Oh, the demand is extremely slow. We could even try out the stars per month order, frankly. I mean, we can always clone these vehicles, it's not a problem. Let's go for one for now here and see what we can do with that. Build up limit of a stockpile, something like that. But first things first, please get moving. Certainly is slightly faster. I guess. I'm not quite sure if we can overtake our other trucks here. I guess we find out pretty shortly because they are slower. Yeah, what was the goal again? I think it was company value, yes, wasn't it? Okay, we're getting there already because our factories need to hold their value, thankfully. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be super profitable, but this operation is very, very small scale. We probably also have to utilize some sun lotion and make up some money on the side. At the moment it's too pricey for us, unsurprisingly. And we didn't get here in time for the holiday season to sell these crocodile leather bags. Very fancy. Yeah, that's the problem, why? Because it's 1.9 versus 2. But since we cannot sell the letters separately, what gives, I guess. Otherwise there would be a tiny stockpile developing. A tiny stockpile. And there's probably one too many here anyhow. But later on many tons of oil, of course. All of this lovely dino juice for plastic and all the other components we need so much. Oh, plastic, man. Gives me nightmares. It's also a factor in the first Industriegigant, of course. And then some. Yeah, okay, this is very small scale operation. You do have access to trains, but I'm not quite sure why, because there is no prospect of even using any trains. There simply isn't enough demand around here. We can certainly siphon away some sun lotion if we need it to. There's certainly plenty of excess capacity. 550,000 for one chemical plant. Of course, you need to set up a household store for this, otherwise you cannot sell these items unsurprisingly. Yeah, that's the problem with having 3 different stores, not just one combining all the items. Of course, with seasonal item, you won't have a stockpile before December, ideally. That would be swell, or the summer season, whatever the case may be. The point still stands. I guess you can absorb at least some losses here to see what the household stores are up to, but they have 130,000, so we have to start a little bit smaller than presumably. So how much sun lotion can we sell? Once again, it's only by the small truckload. Even in sunny Florida, no one wants sun lotion. Well, some people do, but not in bulk, evidently. Oh, it's too bad. But at least we can get started here, of course. That's a very, very small scale operation, of course. A very small scale. Yeah, how much do we need for this? Not a whole lot, I would figure. Probably not, right? Yeah, 5 is too much already. It's so expensive to operate here. It's barely worth the effort, frankly. Yeah, we can make 2 per month. That's probably more than sufficient, anyhow. Probably, yes. Okay, a new vehicle available. With a streamlined cap, I like that. This one certainly is diesel, but it's not a guarantee. Especially in the United States. Yeah, GMC truck. Over here it's a KMC. Okay, I like it. Has 2 wheelies in the back, of course. Yeah, we need, of course, adjust our stockpile here as well to load the items if we haven't done so already. Okay, apparently I didn't adjust these anyhow, so in this case doesn't matter. So only 1 truck, of course, going back and forth, essentially. Yeah, this isn't super profitable, unsurprisingly. But this is better than nothing. Because otherwise you can't meet our target parameters, I would think. Maybe the rate of production is too big here already. Who knows? Okay, just a tiny bit, please, on both of these. Just a tiny bit. Wow, free sun lotion, or free bottles of sun lotion, I should say. Over here, of course, it's still too far away, but I think it's worth setting up a different store for this. Although these are relatively affordable by comparison. That's the problem with the catchment area, of course. I guess then we use it over here. I think it's fine. Although even one item makes tons of difference in this game. It really does. Yeah, big bucks, forget about that. Can we upgrade this here? No, it's already the maximum, right? That's too bad, because now our trucks are waiting. Some of the time. And of course, we simply cannot sell this many rubber boats. It's impossible for us. So sometimes it's a good idea to diversify these delivery destinations, you know. Also for pickup purposes. But if you only add 3 trucks in total to this area here, it shouldn't be too worrisome. Although we do have to wait sometimes. It's not the idea. At least we paved the entire road, so there's that. But so far I like it. This game is a lot more polished than the first Industriegigant, of course. Yeah, it's just too fast, right? We simply cannot sell this much here anyway. Oh, really, 1 per month is not even worth the industry. No, its very existence. Really isn't worth anything. That means you can knock this down to something a little more sensible again. Okay, so I'm not quite sure this will be super easy to achieve then. So they want to see a target value of 10 million. I suppose we're almost there. And there simply is no further room for expansion, is there though? This town cannot be utilized, really. It's too small. Also too spread out. Since the catchment area of our shops is so tiny. And I have to correct myself, some of these missions do end early, I believe, if you do meet the mission parameters, but sometimes they're a little bit more stringent when it comes to these missions which tell you to deliver a number of items over the course of the entire campaign, and there's a jeep going off-road. Yeah, or provide, you know, food to the townspeople or whatever, then you have to play for the entire mission incidentally. So thankfully it's not for every single mission type, but only some of them. When it happens, it's very annoying indeed. Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense to produce only one item per month. Because the industry has a fixed cost, of course. Yeah, chemical. Very nice modeling here in this game. But this way we certainly aren't earning the big bucks. The demand in Florida circa 1942 is just too low. Always make sure we have sufficient room in our stockpile, otherwise these items just disappear into the ether once more. Was we already saw that, why didn't we? Okay, we're getting there. But there simply is no room for expansion whatsoever. There simply isn't. Yeah, you can refresh your memory back here if you want to. The best we can do is to look at our statistics. So we have 6 warehouses and this is their current value. But I don't think these structures age. The only thing that does, of course, decrease in value over time is our vehicles. So we have to replace them pretty often, incidentally. Average age and everything. Let's factor in this, of course. At least we have some statistics available, unlike the first industry giant. Of course, in 1942, this would be the dawn of the diesel age, especially in the United States. But of course, it doesn't mean there was the end of steam locomotives already. Although the United States railroad companies were pretty quick to phase out steam entirely. It took a lot longer in Europe, of course. The East German railways, by the way, were still using steam locomotives on main lines up to the reunification, essentially. I think in West Germany, the last steam locomotive ran in 1974, I believe. But except for private companies, we still had things like fireless locomotives, you know, in industrial areas, chemical plants and things of that nature. I'm only talking about the state-owned rail company. At least it was state-owned back in the day. The Deutsche Bundesbahn. Yeah, luxury points. Okay, I don't remember these here. I suppose we do get some bonus points eventually. At the moment we have 0, of course. Oh, there we have it. Of course, I do remember the game requiring quite a bit of just sitting around and waiting, even with the relatively easy missions here in this campaign. But let's just take a look at the balance sheet before we call it quits for this recording session. Of course, all of our items were pretty low quantity. Yeah, pretty low quantity, right? I'm not quite sure why our costs went down so much. It's probably construction, I would figure, something like that. The graph could probably use some fine-tuning. Maybe to see it a little bit easier here, but then again, it's only a game, of course, an old one at that. Company value was mostly because of our income, because there was nothing else to build on the entirety of the map. It was fully saturated because the towns are so small, as is the demand, correspondingly as you would think. Yeah, so what about our costs here, right? So we paid almost 200,000 in property maintenance. The buildings were 4,350,000. So it is very substantial in this game, of course. And one of our vehicles broke down somewhere, by the way, because we are lacking in maintenance facilities. Something else, of course, I have to keep in mind, since it wasn't a thing we had to worry about in the first Industry Giant. Even though I did mention it right at the start of the mission, incidentally. Okay, once again, a blunder I can only blame myself for, of course, but we don't have a maintenance facility in here, I think, right? Yeah, there must be our ladder trucks breaking down. Okay, overall, we also have to pay for storage spaces, apparently. It does make some sense. Nothing is free in the real world, of course. Okay, interesting. Turnover will be a factor in some of these missions, I'm sure. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure what luxury points they're talking about right now. Wasn't a factor, of course. But yeah, I think it's all we can do for this recording session. So once again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.